Guys, welcome to another tattoo tips video. This tattoo tips video is going to concentrate on 5 things that I believe will help you as an artist improve making a better and cleaner tattoo. Now I hate long intros, so I'm just going to get straight into it, guys. That being number 1, stencil. I believe a stencil is your roadmap to a good tattoo. Imagine if you were on a long journey, let's say an 8-hour journey, and you need to use a map to get you to your destination. Now, that map that you're using doesn't contain all the information that needs to get you there. Now, I know we've got sat-navs, so let's not go down that route. Let's pretend it's a paper map, and that way it translates better to a paper stencil. So, all the maps not got the information you need to get you there. It's enough, but it leaves for guesswork. At some point, you may get lost. Now, this is why I believe a stencil is a roadmap to a good tattoo. It's better to have as much information as possible to make the best, most precise decisions. I have spent upwards of 2 hours on stencils, getting as much info in as possible. Don't just go for the face, the nose, the eyes, and the basic shapes. It leaves for a lot of guesswork, which will also slow you down. You are looking for the easiest route possible. So have as much as possible. Even if you don't use the info, it's there for you to look at if you need it. Now, although I say go into detail on your stencils, be careful when it comes to going around the eyes or any small area with a lot of small details. You don't want to be cramming too much in. It is better to make those as simple as possible, or simpler, should I say. All that's going to happen, guys, is if you've got too many close details together, when you put that on skin, the carbon's just going to bleed. So just keep that in mind. On a side note, guys, if you do use hand carbon stencils, try to use a hard lead pencil that keeps a point. That way you get a nice, thin, consistent line throughout your piece. And also try and find a nice balance of pressure when you are hand stenciling. Too little, the carbon won't hold that well in the skin, and too much, the carbon will bleed on the skin and take ages to dry. So just try and find a nice balance. Okay guys, tip number 2, don't rush. Tattoo because you love to tattoo. Find your speed and stick to that speed. The slower you go, the more you can analyze and process the information in front of you. Never get caught up in doing a tattoo fast, and don't worry about the client. Clients know what they are getting themselves in for. Okay, they should know anyway. If you have a consultation and it's their first tattoo, make sure you explain to them the entire process and how long the tattoo is going to take. That way it gives them a good idea so they can come in that day and they are prepared for it. If you have artists and peers ripping you for being slow, who cares, guys? Alright, don't succumb to the peer pressures of it. I've seen artists loads of times on Facebook or any social media put up a good tattoo and they've done it in an hour and a half, and they are bragging that they've done it in an hour and a half. Now, all I see is, well, imagine if you had spent 4 or 5 hours on that hour and a half tattoo that you've done. To me, it's going to be 4-5 times better. So being fast is not a good thing, guys. If anything, all it does is hinder you in developing. So do not succumb to the pressures, guys, of peers and clients. Just don't do it. And don't feel like because you see artists doing things in an hour and a half that you should be doing the exact same piece in an hour and a half, because that is not the case. Which brings me on to my next point, tip 3, equal time. Now, a lot of people only want to concentrate on the main object in the piece. Let's say you're doing a portrait, people just want to concentrate on the face only, and then they forget about the clothes, the hair, the background. What they'll do is they'll spend 5 hours on the face, maybe an hour on the clothing, and 10 minutes on the background. Now, I'm here to tell you that it shows in your piece, guys, so don't do that. If you spend an equal amount of time across the piece, it's more consistent and it looks better. There's nothing worse than seeing a really, really smooth, awesome portrait on the face, but then the clothes are just rushed, the hair's rushed, the background's rushed. It completely compromises your full piece. All those hours that you put in, all for nothing. So on those clothes, guys, make sure you spend 4 hours if needed. If you've got a portrait that's got a nice checkered shirt on it, a beautiful checkered shirt, spend as much time on that shirt as possible, guys. Obviously, you don't want to be spending too long on it because then it comes into like overworking, but if your machine's set up right and your technique's right, that shouldn't be a problem. But again, just spend as much time as you can, guys, on equal things. Don't think that because you've done the face that now everything's going to be okay, because it's not. Equal amount of time, equal time on shirts and clothing, equal time on hair especially, and backgrounds. A lot of people just put a quick background in, yeah, nice fade, boom, done. Now, don't do that, guys. Really concentrate on every part of the piece. Tip number 4, guys, is make your pieces sharp. Okay, often people do a great piece, but they make the mistake of not making things such as noses, eyes, clothing nice and sharp. They work up to a nose, for example, and think that that's okay because it's the right tone and it holds the shape, but often that isn't good enough. What you need to be doing is really getting in there with the side of your mag or a nice 3-liner, for example, and really getting in there and say, on the side of the nose, really defining the shape that comes round. All right, so you've got a nice separation from the cheek to the nose. Often, very often, you'll be doing a piece where you're doing a nose and the cheek or the same tone, right? So you need to separate it, guys. You need to make that nose prominent, all right? And it needs to be defined. I also see a lot of this done with hair. What people do is they do hair and then they have a background, but you can't really tell between the hair and the background, and they kind of blend a little bit. You're going for a nice defined edge on that hair so it separates it from that background. Same with clothing, same with everything, guys. Make sure it's nice and sharp and it's readable and it's all separate. And an added note, guys, when it comes to doing portraits, do not fill the eyes with white. Okay, guys, I cannot stand this. White should be used as an highlight only, okay? And I see a lot of people, even top world-renowned artists, using white to fill in the whites of the eyes on a black and grey portrait. Do not do that. Under no circumstances do you ever do that. Okay, all it serves to do is take the realism out of your portrait and it makes it look like a plastic doll or something like that. Use white as a highlight and that is it. Okay, guys, tip number 5, my last tip, and for me, the most important tip, and that is mindset. Your mindset is everything. When it comes to tattooing, how you approach tattoo and how you are in yourself will dictate the outcome of the tattoo. If you have a personal problem or you are going through arguments with your girlfriend, boyfriend, it all serves to compromise your mindset to do well. Mindset begins when the customer messages you. You need to switch it on and keep it on throughout the entire process. Be in the mindset that this piece is going to be the absolute dog's bollocks. All right, and take that into the design process. And when it comes to the tattoo process, tell yourself that you are the shit and that nobody else could do that tattoo how you're going to do that tattoo. Tell yourself that if you look up to a favorite artist, when you start getting tired, that they wouldn't be getting tired, and use that to push yourself through. Tell yourself when you wanting to skip over some details because you feel it's not needed, tell yourself that your favorite artist that you're looking up to would not be skipping those details, and that's the difference between where they are and where you are. So really tell yourself all these things, guys. Inflate your ego, guys. You need to use ego to fuel you throughout the entire tattoo process. Anyone that succeeds or told that they have an ego, that's because they have to have an ego, guys. You've got to be telling yourself that you are the best. You've got to be telling yourself that you are better than the people that you are looking up to, and that you can be better than the people you are looking up to. And you've got to make yourself believe it, guys. Ego is often misconstrued to be arrogance, but it's not. Use ego to fuel you throughout life in general. All right, like I said, anybody that succeeds has an ego. You cannot get through life telling yourself that you are shit and that you cannot do something. Tell yourself that you are the fucking nuts, that you are the best thing that's ever walked this earth, and that there's only you that can do what you are doing. Seriously, guys, ego is a good thing. do not think that you cannot have an ego because you need to stay humble. You can stay humble outside the industry and within the industry when you're meeting your peers and you're meeting new artists. You can be humble and you can, come across as you. But when it comes to success and when it comes to the tattoo process, fuck it, guys. Tell yourself that tell yourself that nobody compares. All right. Have that ego and use that ego to your advantage, guys. But that is my top 5 tips that I think will help you and aid you in becoming a better artist. If you've learned anything or you feel like you can learn anything in the future, please follow the link, go over to the YouTube channel, subscribe, like, and share this video, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Adios.